I'm Ellie Rothney. I'm the Director of Development at the National Theatre of Scotland, and I've been helping to lead on our digital access project for Nesta. So the National Theatre of Scotland is one of Scotland's national performing companies. We're the youngest of all five, and we're also the first national theatre company in the world to take the somewhat radical decision not to actually have a venue of our own. And this Theatre Without Walls model allows us to perform all over Scotland, from traditional theatre venues to quarries, ferries, forests, pubs, village halls, just about anywhere where we can tell a story. We have a really strong commitment to making sure all of our performances are accessible as possible, but we have some additional challenges as well as opportunities, given that we perform in somewhat irregular spaces. So when we discovered there was an opportunity through Nesta, we thought it might be a great way of exploring whether technology could allow us to fulfil this mission of making more of our performances accessible. And normally when you go and see a theatre show during a run of maybe 3 weeks, there's one show that you can go to where you can access captioning or audio description. We wanted to see whether technology could allow us to develop a platform that would deliver captioning and audio description to smartphones, which would enable, or captioning, or at least captioning equivalent to smartphones, which would make you, people with visual impairments or hard of hearing able to go to any performance that they like during a run in any location and be able to access the same service or provision through their mobile phones. So if you were coming along and you would normally access a caption performance or a BSL performance, the idea would be to build in an alternative or an additional service whereby you could come along to the theatre, you would log on to the wireless network or access the internet, you would have a sort of screen that knew your preferences, and then when the show started you would put on your headphones, or if it was captioning you would be able just to hold it in your hand, and you would get those services, either captioning or audio description, relayed to your mobile phone so that you could go to any performance that you liked. Our digital partner was developing a sort of phase one interface of how we could actually deliver captioning, sort of rolling captioning to mobile phones and rolling audio description. We then did a little sort of semi-live test, I guess, where we brought in our visually impaired group, and they came in with their devices, with their own devices, and we thought it was really important that we try as far as possible and allow these groups to use their own devices. The feedback to both that evening and the captioned performance for the hard of hearing group was absolutely brilliant. What became clear at that point was this was never going to be an one size fits all. When we had the captioning group in, who were all hard of hearing to different degrees, there was one woman who probably had the most profound hearing loss, who didn't enjoy the experience of reading the captions on the screens and looking up to the screen where the dialogue was actually happening in person, broadly because she lip read a lot. And if she was having to look down at a mobile phone or a tablet, that meant that she couldn't actually concentrate on lip reading. The others who had lost their hearing more recently weren't lip readers. So actually the flicking up and down, sort of second screening almost as it was something that they really liked. And the feedback about the notion that they would then be able to go to the theatre on the same night as their pals again and not just have to go on one specific evening, they were very excited about. So even from those early stages, we felt that we had, if not exactly proof of concept, but certainly something to go on. There was an appetite from the people that we'd spoken to that this was something that they were keen to see us develop. What was interesting about this project, that we feel that we're actually, it will become redundant quite quickly, because the absolute perfect vehicle for this project is something like Google Glass. Because as soon as you're wearing the technology, it takes away from any taboo of taking a smartphone or a tablet into a theatre, because a lot of what the digital partner has had to do is make sure that glare was down, so that the experience that someone was gaining by being able to access caption or audio description wasn't impeding on someone else's experience of theatre. So in a way, we would imagine that this is almost a stopgap. But if we can at least be looking at the notion of how you deliver this, then hopefully the next move would follow. As a company, we do a lot of work. I mean, we make about 27 performances every year, and we're quite used to commissioning design, commissioning solutions. And what was interesting with everyone is obviously they're a commercial company who are very client focused, but in this particular instance we weren't their clients and they weren't ours. So it was trying to find a way of creating a partnership that actually delivered, or figuring out whether it actually should be a partnership or whether it should be more of a sort of client supplier relationship. So I think it took a while to feel our way through that, to figure out exactly what the relationship needed to be. We feel that we have real proof of concept. We know that the user groups are interested in what we've got, and we'd like to see it further developed. We would like to see it working for a start. We know that we can do something about addressing it culturally, about bringing these devices into theatres as a stopgap until we all get Google Glassed up. So the key to now is absolutely cracking how we deliver it, making sure we can deliver it properly. And the key thing that we've realised over the last 6 months or 9 months, is it has to be an automated system, because we can't afford to bring someone in every night to trigger the captioning or captioning or audio description. We need to find some way of using what everyone has built, which is a manually triggered captioning device, and turning that into something that runs off what triggers that the company has already as part of the show. And if we can do that, we're very confident that we can bring something that really fulfills the ambition of the brief as we set up. What Nesta has allowed us to do is the space and the time to actually go, gosh, this could actually work. So we're excited about taking it on now to the next stage.